Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our iSTEM open house this evening. It is a cold night out there, but certainly a much better night than last year's event, so we're really excited to have everyone here. My name is Paul Dawson. I'm the secondary school vice principal here at Aldershot School, and to my right is...
Hi, I'm Carrie Sager, and I'm one of the iSTEM teachers.
So again, welcome. Just briefly, you have a ticket in your hand. It says that you're part of Group A. So to help us facilitate walking through the school and hearing, having some different opportunities to learn about the program, you're starting in the auditorium tonight at 7 p.m. From here, we'll ask you to move towards the gymnasium, and we'll talk about that at the end, where you'll have an opportunity to do some question and answers with Superintendent Terry Blackwell, Jamie Mitchell, who's one of the other iSTEM lead teachers, and some teachers and parents that are connected to the program as well. And then from there, you'll move towards a bit of a self-directed but guided tour throughout the building where you can see some of the facilities that have been renovated as part of the iSTEM program. So you're going to spend the next 25 minutes or so with us here in the auditorium.
If you see any students in lab coats, they're all part of our iSTEM program, and they're more than happy to talk to you about iSTEM.
But before we get started, we have our Director of Education, Stuart Miller, here, and he'd like to say a few words.
Good evening, everyone, and I want to thank you all for showing up this evening. This is a bit of an experiment for the Halton District School Board. We went through a pretty deep and challenging accommodation review process a few years ago in which a couple of secondary schools have been closed. But out of that process, and out of that process came this. And this is a wonderful opportunity for students. My background, I was a teacher of science and maths, and my father was an engineer, so STEM comes very natural to me, and it's something that I look forward to our students being involved. Adding the I and making an innovation is really a statement about the century that we're living in and the time that your children are living in. So this is last year, this was crazy busy because it was an unknown. And we're only 3 months into it this year, and we've already seen remarkable success. And I'll leave most of that to be talked about by some of the other staff and by students. They've already been to McMaster University and sat in on first-year university courses in engineering. They've already met with experts in certain fields. They're out there creating, building, and doing all sorts of stuff. And I personally believe that this is the way education is going to roll forward to prepare students for their time when they are adults. It's changed from the old days that all of us knew, sitting at a desk and a big bad teacher shouting at you to do your homework. It's all changed because work has changed, and education must reflect that. So I want to thank all the staff here at Aldershot for making this work, all the parents who've supported this. This has been a real community effort amongst the parents, private industry, other public institutions like Mohawk College and McMaster University, other staff in the school board. It's been a fantastic experiment with great success around just the process of developing it. But most of all, I want to thank the students and the teachers directly working with those students. You will be amazed at the poise and the articulateness, is that a word? Of these students, because they're far more articulate than their director, and you will very much enjoy it. So I won't talk anymore because you want to see what's going on here. You don't want to hear an old guy talk, so thank you.
Thank you, Director Miller. So next we're going to show you a video just to get your mind thinking a little bit about school, maybe your own experiences, and why we've embarked on this journey of the iSTEM program.
This is America in 1900. This is a car in 1900, and a phone, and a high school. This is America in 1950, and a car, and a phone, and a high school. This is today, a car, a phone, a high school. Whoa, back up. So cars are now this, and phones are now this, but high schools are still that? American high schools are based on the same model, and it's been over 100 years.
Wow, that's a long time.
But why? In 1900, it made sense for high schools to prepare students for that. But in 2017, shouldn't they be preparing students for this, and even this? So why are we still granting diplomas based on the time a student spends in a seat? Why are we still using the Carnegie unit, which was developed in 1906 and says the formula for learning is 4 years sitting at a desk multiplied by one subject taught at a time equals students ready for the future? All questions, execute the super.
So that's just a bit of a video. We know schools aren't exactly like that anymore, but it's to get you thinking about why we're doing what we're doing, and we're going to share some of that information with you this evening.
When we started on the iSTEM journey, we thought before we even develop a program, we need to talk to students. And what we did was we surveyed every grade 10 student in the Halton District School Board. And we talked to them, we asked them, what do you really want to learn about? And what we heard from the students were things like, if we learn about history, why don't we learn about the future? Or many of our subjects are outdated and look backwards rather than towards the future. That they wanted to learn about the real world outside of school. They thought they wanted to see what's exciting going on outside the four walls of a classroom. They wanted to talk about things that were relevant, be in the field. They wanted hands-on learning, and they wanted to interact with not only teachers and students, but people in industry. The grade 10s were telling us this in almost universally across the Halton region. They also said they wanted to develop skills. They said they didn't want to just learn about content knowledge. They wanted skills in interpersonal skills, practical life skills. They wanted to figure out what they were naturally good at and how they might get there. And they also wanted to learn about some of those coping skills and resiliency skills. And they said to us, before iSTEM was developed, that they wanted a school that they would never get bored at. They wanted no homework. I don't know if we met that goal, but they wanted to have access to technology. They wanted to feel confident. They wanted to learn things that they would use in real life. So those were the messages that kids came to us with. And in iSTEM, we really tried to take those messages to heart and to build a program that meets the students' needs in 2019.
And just to comment on that, we're going to let you hear from a couple students shortly. But when we were talking to some of the students about the program, we did get some feedback from a parent, and you'll meet a parent in the program a bit later on. But she actually tweeted out saying, "My son loves to come to school, and I've been waiting to hear that for a long time." So it's not just about the curriculum, it's not just about the academic learning, it's that enjoyment of coming to school and that engagement, which was a big part of what we were hoping to do with the students by listening to what they wanted out of school. So why iSTEM? Why does this program exist, and why are we so passionate about it? Certainly you can read that statement there, but the world is changing. The world of work has changed, the world of learning has changed, even in 10 years. If you look at the way students can access their learning and how they learn, that's changed. So Director Miller mentioned that notion of the innovation part of iSTEM, and that's a big part of what we're doing. The 4 subjects, you're going to learn about the timetable shortly, but we're innovating as we go along here, and that's been a big part of it. Preparing our students not just to act locally in their community, but how do they take the skills here and become global citizens. There's a notion, kind of a concept we talk about here. It's a bit of a thing for me, that notion of consumer versus producer. We want students producing new ideas, being able to contribute back to their communities as active citizens, not just consuming ideas and knowledge. So how do we provide an opportunity for our students to produce new ideas and share out with the rest of the world? We're not going to ask students, what do you want to be? We're going to ask them, what problems do you want to solve? And that's actually part of the application process that you'll learn about shortly. But we want to know and challenge the students to what are their passions? What are they interested in? What are the big problems in the world that they see and they want to solve? And when we think about STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, we think a lot about the technologies that are there to solve some of these problems. But there's a great harmony between the technology and the types of problems that students want to solve. When we asked them last year, what are some of the questions or big things you want to solve, they were talking to us very much from a social justice lens or an equity lens. Clean water, sustainable food sources, medication for all. Lots of really, really interesting and dynamic problems out there that they want to solve with a technological, geography and science and math all coming together to help build the foundation of the skills for those problems. We had some students say, I don't know what my problem is yet, but I'm really excited to learn with others. And so that notion of collaboration and those skills are really, really important. So talking about skills. We know that learning the curriculum is very, very important, but how do we use the curriculum to help students build the skills that they're going to need for today and beyond? And we didn't come up with this list just on our own. We've looked at the 21st century learning skills. We've talked to people at McMaster and Mohawk, the University of Guelph, and we've talked to people in industry. When these young people leave high school and either go to the workplace, go to college, do an apprenticeship, go to university, and then beyond that training, what are the skills you are looking for as an employer, as an industry, for the young people to develop? And this is what they're sharing with us. Innovative, creative, entrepreneurship. This year in grade 9, the concept is that of an engineer's toolkit. In grade 10, it's an entrepreneur's toolkit. And it's not that we're asking students to start a business, but it's that entrepreneurial spirit, that mindset of, I have an idea, I have something I really want to share with people. How do I get that idea out there and make it possible?
And they could start a business if they wanted.
They could, absolutely. They could absolutely start a business. Being self-directed, motivated. Communication, that was one of the biggest things we'd heard from people that we've been working with. Students have great ideas, they're very intelligent, but we need them to be better communicators and get their ideas out there. Being collaborative, when you talk to the students and hear from them tonight and see them throughout the building, we have a big emphasis on project-based learning, design thinking. We've done a lot of work there, but it's highly, highly collaborative. And we know nothing outside of school or in school is done in isolation. So we want to help them develop those collaboration skills and provide them the opportunities to do that. And we want them to be citizens, critical thinkers, and problem solvers. We want them to come up with new ideas. There are lots and lots of problems out there in the world that our young people are interested in and have really great solutions for. We want to give them the opportunity to develop the skills to answer those and find solutions to them as soon as possible. And that's why we're starting with a program in grade 9. And these are the three big trends that we notice. Technological change and disruption. And for us, maybe as adults or as parents, we think, okay, things like the smartphone and social media and the Internet of Things, that's really disruptive technology. In talking to the kids, it may not be so disruptive to them because it's the world they're living in. But it's that notion of technological change, being at the forefront of it, and being ready to disrupt what's happening through technology. Shifting demographics. The world is changing. Our ability to communicate with people has helped that to happen. The ability to collaborate with people across the country, around the world, that's changing the opportunities that we have in terms of who students can access, and the makeup of their classrooms is changing as well. Our communities are changing, so that shift in demographics is happening. We want our students to have the skills and the talents to be able to work in those environments. And then accelerating globalization. Again, it's amazing the power that they have in a cell phone, the ability to communicate and learn and reach out to others. So those are the trends that we're working with and trying to prepare our students to be ready for those, to act on those trends.
So Canada 2067, which is one of our partners that we have at iSTEM, came up with 10 key student insights. And these are the student insights that we've been trying to embed into the iSTEM program. So personalized learning, students having the ability to take what they're really interested in and apply it even in grade 9 in their engineering year. Student collaboration, iSTEM, and students are going to talk about it in a second, but iSTEM is really about working in groups and teams and learning how to do collaboration and do it well. Technology in the classroom. When you do a tour today, you're going to be able to see our 3D printers and laser cutters and technology that we have in the classrooms. We're engaging students in STEM. We actually have first-year engineers working with us this year on an engineering problem, and we have some engineering firms that have donated engineers. So we have engineers coming in once a month to work with our students and really get to know the students and take the knowledge that they have from engineering fields and apply them to the classroom. Experiential learning, we've done a couple field trips already to McMaster and to a low ropes course, and we'll be doing several others into industry. Mentorship, we do have mentors embedded in next year in grade 10 and the entrepreneurial year they'll get more mentors, and then in grade 11 and 12 they go out and find mentors to work with them. Critical thinking, problem solving, self-awareness, well-being, and comfortable spaces, and we're really proud of our comfortable spaces. We've got pretty cool classrooms that the students will show you and are very proud of. So what we thought we'd do right now is show you the first 6 weeks of this year. We have 115 students in the program, and they've been really busy doing lots of different activities. So this is just a snapshot of what we did in the first 6 weeks of class. we've been having a lot of fun. We've extraordinary students in the program, and student voice is central to everything that we do in iSTEM. So we thought it was important, before we even show you what a timetable might look like, is that you hear from two of our students. We have Isla and Faz here to talk tonight. We had lots of volunteers, so lots of students could have come up and presented, but these two represent our classroom incredibly well. So Isla and Faz, I'll hand it over to you. You want to go first?
Should I take this one? Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is Faz Mayfield. Thank you for coming out today to learn about the iSTEM program. I'm here to share a few things I find essential and favorable about iSTEM. What brought me to the program was my activity and interest in technology and engineering. I aspire to maintain a career in these fields one day, and I feel iSTEM is going to help me get there. Since I've got here, we've already been introduced to prototyping techniques, innovation plans, data collection, and many more skills an engineer would use in their daily lives. iSTEM has given me a new way to look at problems with handy resources such as our 3D printer, our laser cutter, innovation room, prototyping room, and many more to come. We've already taken 2 trips to McMaster to focus on our project, finished an interactive rocket prototyping assignment, and started working on preventing the erosion in the ravine behind our school. iSTEM truly has brought life to my thinking and is helping me grow as the student I am.
Hi, I'm Riley. Hi, my name is Isla. I decided to apply to Eldershot's iSTEM program because I've always known I wanted to be an electric or chemical engineer, and that this program could help me on my journey. In the iSTEM program, we focus on making young, innovative engineers so that they can grow up and become very successful. Despite my distance and taking the GO train early morning every single day, in iSTEM, it's a different type of learning. It's innovative, more hands-on, and overall so much fun. I wouldn't trade that for anything. In an iSTEM school day, we usually have 2 of our iSTEM classes, which are science, tech, geography, and math. But it depends on what projects we have going on. Sometimes we mix 2 of our classes, and it gives us the opportunity to work with other students, expand our learning, and get creative with new people that we wouldn't normally work with. This works well in our program since we do a lot more projects, which I personally prefer when assignments, especially when assignments are on current events that are going on in our world today. For example, our ravine erosion and our aquatic houses. As I said before, this program is more hands-on. Instead of just sitting down in a classroom writing notes, we get to go outside, find things around us that relate to our lesson, and add it to our daily lessons. This adds variety to our lessons. Often we do work and projects with our own classes as well. We rarely are put in groups with the same people we've already worked with. Sometimes our teachers choose our groups, and sometimes we choose our groups. Either way, we get a diverse pool of ideas, opinions, and creativity that can take a project level from great to good. Sorry, from good to great. In iSTEM, we learn a lot in each subject, but in a very interesting way. Like when we did our rockets, every little detail tied into math, tech, science, and geography. Personally, I prefer handing in one big project than 4 different projects because when you're an engineer, you have no choice but to add all those elements anyway. I'm also very excited about our McMaster project. It's very interesting and exciting to help a real person that could benefit from our work. Going to a McMaster University, sitting in on lectures while just in grade 9 is motivating to me. I've wanted to go to McMaster ever since my first engineer camp I attended there 3 years ago. Honestly, I love the opportunities that the iSTEM program provides me. I'm not only excited about this year, but even more excited about next year's focus, which I hear is about entrepreneurship. I really do love this program and appreciate it so much, so join us.
Awesome. Thank you, Isla and Faz. It's great. So we have students involved. We also have community partners that are part of the iSTEM program. So we partnered with McMaster and Mohawk, Let's Talk Science, Canada 2067, Engineers of Tomorrow, ICTC, I Think, and TechLink. They're all involved in our advisory board and give input into the program and what is happening in the engineering fields today. the iSTEM program, I think you all have a brochure. The breakdown of the courses, they have 4 courses in grade 9, which are, as Isla said, math, science, geography, and technology, and the focus is engineering. And then in grade 9, they also have to take their 4 other courses which are integrated into the Aldershot community. So 4 courses in grade 9 are all year iSTEM courses, and then they have 4 other courses that are semestered. Grade 10, the focus is the entrepreneur toolkit, and then grade 11 and 12, we focus on global innovators toolkit, and we're using the UN Sustainable Development Goals for those, and the students will be able to pick one UN Sustainable Development Goal and really dig deep on it. They have to take an interdisciplinary studies course and find a mentor in the community to work with them, and then they'll do a big presentation out to the community on that. And in the question and answer session, you can ask more questions on that.
And just that notion of the timetable, that's part of the innovation that we were looking to do. How can we utilize the school day differently? How can we engage kids differently with the same type of 8:10 to 2:40, so that's our start time, 8:10, a bit earlier than some of the elementary schools. But 8:10 to 2:40, how can we utilize that time differently and use the courses differently? So because we are using the Ontario curriculum, that's an expectation. But again, it's not the what necessarily, it's how we're using it differently. And part of that timetable, the integration of the courses together, allows that to happen. So they have their whole afternoon courses together, the 4 courses all year, integrated with the rest of the students throughout the morning periods. And what was really neat to get us to that point is this team of teachers looked at all the curriculum, and we found the common language, the common expectations, and that helped build kind of the projects, and it was a launching point for how we were going to do our projects and our integrated programming.
So there's how we break down the program. So it's engineering, entrepreneur, and then global innovator. We do have a roadmap that you can see in the question and answer period in a little bit more detail, but it breaks down each of the project designs that they do that are fully integrated throughout the year. So as the students were talking about, we did a rocket project that was really looking at satellite technology and why do we need rockets? And they had to research satellites and rockets, and then they got to release 3 different types of rockets into the air. We're working right now with the city of Burlington on a local issue, which is a ravine erosion problem. So we have the mayor coming on December 17th, I believe, to see what the students have come up with a solution to prevent the erosion happening in the back ravine. And then we continue on with different projects. They're working on a McMaster project, which is a human-centered design problem as well.
And that roadmap is available online at the board's website as well, searching for iSTEM. And it is a breakdown of almost 40 weeks of learning. So you have a sense of the journey that your student will be on throughout their first year of programming. So, applications. There is an application process for this. And right now, the application process includes you sending in your student's grade 8 progress report at this point, and their grade 7 report card. There's also 4 questions as part of the application that are on there. And they focus on themes like, what are your passions inside and outside of school? What big problems do you want to solve in the world? How do you want to go about solving those problems through iSTEM, and why do you want to be part of the program? There is no grade minimum that we're looking for. Certainly, we appreciate that in this program, there are many ways to do learning and have that experience. So for us, there's no grade minimum in terms of the program. But when we think about the type of student, the type of skills, you've learned a little bit about those skills that we're looking for, collaboration and innovation and risk-taking. That's the type of program this is. And with that in mind, I mean, the students that are on the journey with us, they took a risk to be with us. So we're developing and fostering that notion of let's try new things and do it differently. So the application asks those questions. We do take the report cards and the progress reports from grades 7 and 8. The application will open, it's actually probably open now. It is open now through the board's website by searching iSTEM. And the applications will be due December 13th is when we're looking to have them in.
For the applications, you have to download the PDF, and then it's a filled PDF. Some people struggled with it last year, but you just download it and then you can self-fill, you can type it in. You can also hand it in online or in person.
So these are the 4 questions that we ask. What excites you about science, technology, and innovation? Describe your personal learning goals and why you want to be part of the program. What are your passions and interests, and what is one problem that you want to solve? And the problems, it was really, really awesome to read the problems that the students wanted to come up with last year. Thematically, many students had same or similar responses. And again, some students said, I don't know what my big problem is yet, but I'm really excited to learn from others and develop a solution to something maybe they're working on.
And then we had students that were very specific, like I play high-level hockey and my friend just got a concussion. I want to redesign a helmet to prevent a concussion.
So lots and lots of variety in terms of the types of questions and problems and ideas that students have, which just adds to the program. The eclectic nature of the program is what really, really makes it work. Our students, or the students in the program, come from a variety of backgrounds. There's, I think, 22 different languages spoken in the iSTEM program. So cultural diversity is a big part of the program. We have students who have individual education plans, who've come from a home school, private school, Montessori school. So it's a very eclectic group of students, but it just adds to the experience. It really adds to the environment in the classroom, which really excites us about the program. So you will have an opportunity to ask some questions in Q&A, but there's a couple things, and we'll take a couple questions here.
We have 2 minutes.
Maybe a couple minutes, yeah. But again, we do want to thank you for being here and exploring this opportunity with us. And we couldn't get here without people seeing an opportunity and believing in trying something different. And so that starts with our Board of Trustees and their acceptance and openness to this type of program. And we're very fortunate to have Leah Reynolds, our school trustee, standing at the back of the auditorium there. So it's with Leah and the other trustees, senior administration, the staff, the students. That's what helps make this program a real success and really supported, or feel like it's a really supported program, which it is. And you're going to see some of that support in action when you check out the classrooms down the hallways, the renovations, the technology that's been put into the building. We're fully invested in this, and we're really excited about it. So we are really thankful that you are here tonight, taking this opportunity to hear about the program and learn and connect with some of our students and staff.
And I think on your tickets it says where you're going next.
Yeah, but if you have a couple questions, we probably have a couple minutes for a couple questions, but the whole next session, which will be in the gym, is all about question and answers. So if you don't have any questions, we won't take it personally, but that's okay.